everybody. So this is a special, hi, this is a special ISO. Hello. It is. This is a special 15-year birthday episode of, well, I say episode, we haven't done any of these. This is
the introductory episode.
Yeah, only exclusive episode.
Yeah, one-off interview.
Just I just thought it'd be fun for me and Sophie to get together virtually because it's 2021.
Yeah.
And just talk about some of the highs and lows, thrills and spills of the last 15 years at Mazuma. So so first of all, 15 years.
Wow. Yay! Hang on.
Cheers! I didn't have any champagne, so I've got I rummaged around the back of the drinks cabinet and found a cherry liqueur. So cheers.
Cheers.
Oh, it's actually pretty tasty. Yeah, that's actually pretty tasty.
Yeah, I've got a
little mini bottle. Well, here's for 15 years.
Yeah. Woohoo!
Worked. Yay! I got found like proper retro party poppers in the local DIY shop. So I was amazing. 15 blooming years, Soph.
I know. Wowzer.
I know.
Who'd have thunk it?
Who'd have thunk it? I mean, and like when we started off, we had no idea this was going to be like our jobs for 15 years. I mean, granted, we were 23 and young and stupid.
Yeah.
But I suppose, so for anyone who doesn't know the backstory, Sophie and I have known each other since we were 11. We went to school together. And then I went to different sixth forms. So we sort of drifted apart for a little bit. And then unbeknownst to each other, because the internet and Facebook didn't exist back then. So imagine the time when you didn't know what people you used to know were doing.
I know. Mad.
We bumped into each other at a revision course, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yes,
it was. Yeah. I think I was doing a reset.
Yeah. That was a revision course for our last accountancy exams. And that was kind of where it all started, really. And I think I'd already kind of vaguely come up with kind of the premise of it, because I think I'm essentially massively unemployable anyway, in terms of kind of being not liking being told what to do. And it kind of went from there. So what are your memories of the start of Mazuma? Because we've probably got different memories. What are your memories of the proper start of it?
So I have a pretty terrible memory. So if it stands out in my mind, then it must be eventful. But I would say for me, the biggest thing was I remember back in the days when we used to go to the gym together, and we were in that Fitness First on Cambridge Road in Ely. Yeah. And I remember we were in there and we were on the treadmill, and you said, oh, I've started doing this, and like my aunt and my dad and blah blah blah. And I thought, oh, that's a great idea. If you need a hand, I'm here. And that, I think for me, that was kind of it. You were like, oh yeah, actually, I could do with a hand. And I think it went from there. Then we were both still working full time in our normal day jobs.
Yeah.
And then it just kind of went from there. Really, we just started looking at networking events or ways to grow the business, and so that's mad. I mean, that would have been official birthday, because it was sort of in the pipeline for a bit, and then I remember you left your job, and then I was trying to get my first mortgage, so I had to stay for an extra 3 months to make sure I had my mortgage before I joined you. And the KEF funding, I remember you doing all the KEF.
Oh goodness, that was huge.
Applications.
That was like again, many years ago, there used to be this thing called the Knowledge Exploitation Fund, which paid you like so it was about £600 a month. Yeah. But it meant that if you had a qualification of university or equivalent and you started a business, you kind of had your bills covered, which I still think is an amazing idea. Like, why not just give a universal basic income to people who start a business for a year? That investment surely would help them start a business. Oh, I completely forgot. So I sent you a gift. Were you frozen?
15 years ago. I was like, I can't remember that. Yes, you did. I have it here.
Okay, so I want you to open the gift because yes, I thought that we should celebrate. So I wanted to get you a gift, and obviously I can't be there in person.
Oh, I didn't get you one.
I mean, open it first. Let's not judge it until we've opened
All right,
it.
okay. A tin.
In.
And I've got the dog here, so I'm trying to. I'll give
This
him
is
a
like one of these
cardboard.
cool unboxing videos that they do on the internet.
I need to like actually get it in there.
Oh.
Oh, hold here. Oh, is it a cake? Oh my god, that's bloody amazing. Oh, fair play. That. How am I going to eat that?
I couldn't be there in person, so I sent Sophie a cake of me holding a bottle of champagne.
Wow, I am actually amazed. That is brilliant. I don't think I can cut into it. Oh, fair play, that's brilliant. Thank you very much.
That's all right. Enjoy that later on.
It's still here, so you can lift it out. Oh my god, that's amazing. Wow.
That's me holding a bottle of champers. Yeah, my ego knows no bounds.
Thank you very much. That's amazing. I'm going to take photos of that now.
Oh, there we are. Yeah.
I also apologise. The dog is here, so he's currently mauling a cushion. So if we have any barking,
That'll be Steve. Steve's a big part of Mazuma. He's our
definitely. In fact, let's bring on a memory. So he's 6 now. So remember when he was young, and I brought him into the office, and then one day he just started barking for about 8 hours.
Yeah, I remember that. He was like super cool in the office, and then just decided one day he'd had enough. I mean, fair enough, mate. Yeah, fair enough. It's accounts. It's not for everyone, is it? But speaking of which, I was like thinking about our 15 years and thinking about some of the like weirdest things that have happened to us, because it's so easy, I think, to look at a business and be like, oh, it's all this kind of glamorous stuff, or there's all these you get to go to all these awards ceremonies stuff. But boy, oh boy, have we had some weird things. And I was thinking about like when we first started, and again, we had no money, first of all. So we didn't have an office, so we were in my spare bedroom, and we used to like share a printer cable, and because we didn't have like 2 cables printer, and then we moved.
Did we even have Wi-Fi? So I don't think we even had wireless printers.
No, we had to use the Ethernet cable and then like take it in turns to use the internet. And then we had we were in that really. Then we decided, like, because working at home seems great, and it's so weird that we've gone full circle. We couldn't wait to get out of working from home because it felt like everything was all in one. Obviously, we're doing that again now, but we've got that tiny office was it in Birch Grove? It was in Birch
Grove, wasn't it? Just off near sort of where the shops are in the middle, just off the side road, in basically a very small room.
It was just a room. Like it had a shared loo with like other offices. It had wood chip wallpaper.
Yeah.
We didn't have phones that like you could transfer. So when somebody rang, we'd have to go like, hello, oh yes, I'll just transfer you now, and then wait for the other person to pick up the phone, and then
like being at home. Like
it was literally like
20 odd years ago.
Like, serve gas the line. Like just crazy. I remember it was so small that when someone came in for a meeting, because we thought it was like amazing to have people in for a meeting, like there was just 3 people, with too many people in the office.
And do you remember we had those really small bucket chairs from IKEA, and people would just be kind of like
squeezed into these little chairs. Yeah, like big dudes like in these tiny chairs and a really low table. So it just looked like
it was really low. Oh, have we found any clients?
I just look back at how much sass we must have had.
I know, exactly.
Youthful confidence in our abilities.
Definitely.
So then I was thinking about weird meetings, and we used to go out, because we made the mistake that everyone's made, which is to like take any work that comes your way. Yeah. So we used to like go on site to other people in the very, very beginning. And I went to this guy.
Oh, how it's changed.
I won't mention like any names, obviously, but I went to this guy who really wanted to show me. He's like, oh, this is the organisation, blah, blah, blah. So you'll be part of kind of a big organisation. I'm just going to show you the organisational chart. And it was this organisational chart, which had about 20 branches on it. But all of them, apart from 3, had his name on them.
Brilliant. I remember that. It was like in an attic on Churchill Way.
It was like in an attic on Churchill Way in Cardiff. And
just an organisational chart with just his name.
Just his name all over it. And to this day, I still don't know if he's joking or not. It's a sort of joke I
think
do.
he was. Yeah, I know what you mean. It's the kind of thing. Yeah, no, I don't think he had much of a sense of humour. Those days when we used to go out on site. Wow.
Oh, bless us. And I was thinking about our first business cards.
Yeah.
And do you remember those?
We should have kept them. In fact, I'm sure when we did the office out, when we moved the office, we found some and we said, we must keep these as like a through the years. You know, like 200 years time when they look back on companies and their first branding. Yes, civilization. 200 years might be a bit steep.
But we're only 15 in. Let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Exactly, yeah. Maybe 80 years. And then the passage of time through our branding.
Oh, I mean, I did our first branding. It was a star that I did in MS Word.
Lush.
Yeah, that I snipped into paint. And
to be fair, that's pretty much my knowledge of branding still.
That's still it. And I remember, did we have both our numbers on one card?
I think we did, because it was cheaper to just have one card rather than individual cards.
And we only printed on the front because it was really expensive to print on the back.
Yeah.
Oh, they were rubbish.
Yeah.
Oh, bless us.
It's so terrible. It's like, it's mad. I look back at the kind of stuff and like just little things like when we moved up and we got to our shop front office in Rabina, which was a big step up there, and we had a company in and everything to refurb it and do it out. So I remember when we went in there, and just things like, I was thinking about this today, just stuff like with the post and how we do the post, and we'd have to tap it all in and then print out all these specific stamps and stick them on, and then we had the post box then right outside the door, and we'd have to go and post them before the postman came. Yeah, just like that must have just taken up so much of our time.
I know. I know. We were pre-automation days. Tech wasn't a thing. We existed pre-Twitter, which is depressing because I feel so old now. It really depresses me when we employ staff now and they're like born in the 2000s.
Oh, it's crazy.
It's I
put people on payroll. It's like they don't even know what the millennium bug was.
No, they literally weren't born.
Nobody knows what the millennium bug was.
No, it's like the spin-off. It was like the
exactly
that they show on cheap lights.
Yeah.
So I was thinking about so with the offices, I was thinking about really funny moments, and I don't think I took this meeting, but who was the guy who was dripping?
Oh yeah, so I think that was me, and it might have been Danielle, I think, with that one. And he came in and he was late, and then he was pouring down with rain, and for some clearly he must have walked about 5 miles to get there in the pouring rain, and then just turned up, bless him, and he was like literally dripping wet, so like the water was dripping off his nose. His mobile phone kept ringing as well, which he just ignored. And surely you just go, oh sorry, I've got to turn it off and turn it off. No, it just kept ringing. He was just ignoring it, sat there dripping. You're like, do you want to go to the toilet or anything? Gonna, dry yourself off? I can't offer you a towel, but tissue, something. That was quite surreal. And then, try not to get the giggles at that one.
Oh, bless them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and do you remember also that guy who, I can't even remember what this meeting was for, but he hounded us to have a meeting, hounded us, and we were not interested. I can't remember why he wanted a meeting. So eventually we acquiesced and like, okay, yeah, fine, come in, have a meeting. Then when we got there, he was like, all right, so, why do you want this deal? And we were like, we don't.
Who are you?
Yeah, who are you and why are you here? We don't.
What are you doing?
Deal. And he was like, well, why should we work with you? I was like, I don't want you to. I didn't want this meeting. Why are you here?
You handed us for this meeting. We don't know who you are or what you're here for. Let us know. We don't want to buy anything.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Amazing.
So if we were going to look back at us 15 years ago, and like all the growing pains we've been through, what advice would you give to 15 years ago, Lucy and Sophie?
Ooh. No, I don't know actually. Probably it sounds a bit harsh, and I don't mean it to sound quite as bad as it does, but don't trust people quite so easily.
Oh my goodness, I completely agree.
Yeah, so both on, I mean, I don't want it to come across like we're really harsh and horrible, but we've had definitely more than one, I'd probably say more than our fair share of staff-related horror stories where we've been trusting with people and then it's just turned out that they're just completely lying. So that's horrible then, because then it you know, I don't want to be that sort of negative, pessimistic person, but it does just make you, when somebody tells you something, you just think, really? And you don't want to have to be that person. So shame on those that have made me feel that way. And the same.
Made Sophie a cynic. Look at
exactly. You. Yeah, exactly. I used to have a lot more compassion. But yeah, and also not only from a staff point of view, but also from you know, suppliers or just other people that you meet who promise everything and don't deliver. And it just kind of makes me think, every time somebody says something now business related, I'm like, yeah, you're lying. What's the truth?
Yeah, I'm with you. And it's such an unfortunate lesson to have to learn. But I think if we were talking to like young versions of us, I'd just be like, just double check, triple check. Don't believe people when they say. I think as well, the only people you can rely on is yourselves. Like, I think tied into that, my one would be like trust your gut. And I think there are times
definitely
where, for whatever reason, we let people get in our heads and we didn't trust our own instincts on things when I think we should have. And invariably, they turned out that we should have trusted. Like we were right. And I think like I suppose the phrase is like I came up with was like trust your gut but back it up. And
definitely.
Like you've got a gut feeling about something, like don't let somebody else convince you otherwise unless you've got like real evidence.
And I think as well, just talk over there. I think as well, with us, we're very lucky in that we have that partnership where we enjoy and excel at different aspects of the business, yet we've always got the same like future goal, point of view, and gut instinct. So I think, you know, like the fact that we're lucky that we've got the two of us to do that. Because I speak to other people who are in business on their own, and they do find it very lonely at times because they're like, oh, you know, it's all on me to make this big decision, and it's like, whereas I've got you to bounce stuff off. So it definitely helps. And I think when both our guts are saying something, that's a big sign.
Yeah, huge agree. And do you think that's why this has worked for so long in terms of partnership? Is because we've known each other a really long time. We went through puberty together, so
and some shameful hairstyles.
Oh my goodness, some shameful hairstyles. Remember your one that looked like Barry Gibb?
Amazing, I love that. I was thinking about that the other day. I was like, that was so much easier. It was just cut short. And I used to try and, like, with a hairdryer, I had a hairdo, and I would blow it up with a hairdryer to make it like stick out at the back. Like,
I used to really enjoy twisting my hair and like putting loads and loads of clips in it.
Ah, yes,
make it kind of spiky.
Yeah, the 90s have a lot to answer for.
But terrifyingly, the 90s fashion is coming back.
Yes, I know. I've noticed this. I'm like, I will not be wearing that.
I refuse to wear low cut jeans. It's not going to happen.
No, exactly.
Well, obviously, because it's 2021. I'm 38. I'm not wearing low cut jeans. That's not going to happen.
No. Got my high waisted jeggings. Thank you very much.
Oh, yes.
Bit of lycra and everything.
Keep it all in. Absolutely. Okay, so what do you think the worst moment is in the last 15 years? Like, what do you think the worst?
Yeah, so I think
like bad. Like, it's not all been plain sailing and like a laugh.
No, definitely not. We've had a lot of pretty crappy times, to be honest, and it's been tough. I think the worst one for me that stands out was when we moved into that giant office in Bridgend. And we'd taken out a huge lease, we'd recruited staff and didn't have enough clients for them. And we were kind of dealing with this sort of non-exec who just disappeared. And I remember being on the phone to our bank manager chasing up an instalment on our loan payment to fund all this. And he'd sort of disappeared as well. And I just remember being in the office and just that utter feeling of despair of thinking, how are we going to pay these people? Like, not even thinking from me and you, how are we going to pay our bills? But how are we going to, we've committed a job to giving these people a job. They've left jobs to come and work for us. I can't pay them. The rent, like and just having this utter moment of despair. I think for me, that's probably the worst. ever feeling that I've had, but luckily it's all fine.
I actually get like that actually triggers me a little bit.
And me, I can feel it now. I'm going a bit.
It makes me feel a bit sick.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
That yeah. And again, I suppose that goes back to the whole trusting your gut thing, doesn't it? Because we put our faith in somebody who seemed to be everything they said they were, and didn't he like later try to invoice us for like 15 grand?
Yes. And I think you just kind of said, bugger off, really, in stronger language.
Yeah.
You've got legal skills.
Yes, I get quite angry sometimes, and it kind of channels itself into well-written legal letters.
Very good legal letters.
It's a very niche form of anger.
Yes.
I was like, that's. I think that is definitely one of the low points.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I can still feel that kind of.
Yeah.
It always feels to me when I think about it, that moment, like when you come off the top of a roller coaster.
Yeah, that kind of stomach.
Oh, yeah, that was a really, really bad one.
Yeah,
I was trying to think about other low points as well.
Yeah,
and I think a lot of them have been kind of growing pains. So learning how to. I think at the time they felt really bad, and we always joked, and we always say, "I wish I had 5 years ago problems." Like,
exactly.
Problems.
Yeah,
I think that's there's been a few. That's definitely up there with one of the low ones. 100%. And then not a low point, but quite a funny one was, do you remember we once had an office party and someone brought their dog and it pooped on the floor?
Yes. And also remember that time that one of our friends turned up a week early. I forgot about that. Yeah, she turned up a week early. We were like, what are you doing here? It's a party. No, that would be a week today.
Oh, bless her, she was so dressed up as well, and we were just like in the office.
Exactly, yeah. We're just like sorry about this. But
other things I remember, a lot of which seems so distant now, is we spent a lot of time like randomly painting offices because we couldn't afford decorators to come in, putting furniture together ourselves. Do you remember going to a trade show and we didn't have enough people for the stand, so we had to like rope in some of our best friends to wear Mazuma t-shirts and pretend to work for us?
Yeah, that we did that. And another time we've done that a couple of times. So I remember we had an important meeting, so important I can't remember what it was about now, but we felt the need that we needed more bodies in the office. So again, we roped in 2 or 3 friends, because we only had about 4 staff, to bump up the numbers to make it look busier. Like, if you've got a laptop, can you bring it in with you?
Just come and work here for like half an hour whilst we take this meeting.
We'll buy you lunch in the very mediocre pub opposite.
It was a mediocre
Thank you.
pub.
It
was a really mediocre pub. What do you think on the flip side then, what do you think the best moments are? Like a couple of like standout amazing moments.
Ooh, so
we've got a few great ones.
We have, I think probably the one that is up there just because of everything it brought with it was that when we won the HSBC Starship Awards, which I think was in 2010.
It was in 2010. That was 11 years ago.
Wow, that's mad. And do you know what? That's crazy. Now I look back on it to think we won that only 4 years in.
Yeah, I know.
That's crazy. I knew it was 2010, but it didn't feel that long ago.
Yeah.
But that was amazing. I mean, not only was it just the wow of winning, but the fact that we won a decent cash prize, which we were able to invest straight back into the business, and do some plans that we had some idea, some plans that we wanted to do, no money for. So we had that. But also, we got that trip to Hong Kong, which was in quite a bizarre trip. It's quite a long way to go for 2 days.
Very long way to
free,
go. So I just remember because it was the first time we must have been 27.
Yeah.
We'd never been on a fancy flight before. We'd always been only in economy, never been as far as Hong Kong. And we had the upper class bar and things like that. But then we were really concerned, like, we better make sure like we don't drink too much, and that we're like, we're really professional because we're the youngest people here, and we're, I think, 2 of only 4 women on the whole trip.
Yeah.
So we want to make sure we look professional. And then we went to that conference the next day, and that guy on the table next to us fell asleep and fell off his chair.
That was amazing. That was brilliant. It was such a pointless conference. I don't really know what it was about. But yeah, and we were knackered because I think we'd landed at about 11 p.m.
Yeah.
and had to go straight to the end of an event.
Yes.
And then we had to be up for 8 o'clock for this event. So we were struggling anyway, but fair play to him, absolutely.
He just fell off his chair. I thought he died.
I know it was. Obviously, we did the classic British thing and just stood there and stared at him.
Yes.
Rather than rushing to his aid.
Oh,
but
yeah.
No, he came round, so
he was fine.
He's fine.
I'm sure he lived a long and happy life after that.
Exactly. Yeah. But I meant that was good. I remember we met the lady who founded the Mobos.
Yes, that was
one
so
of the
cool.
only other women there.
Yes. Yeah. That was really cool.
Yeah.
And I think that was a really good trip because I think we were so far out of our comfort zones.
Oh, massively.
And I think it taught us how to be out of our comfort zones, that we got properly thrown in the deep end and just had to cope with it. But I remember because we were the winners, we got kind of paraded around and we literally had to tell the same story about ourselves a billion times.
Yeah, and I remember, I think it wasn't too much longer after that where we were like, we're going to have to ditch networking and everything for a bit. There's only so many times you can tell the story.
Yeah, it got very tiring, tiring, a real drain. And it's because as well, our personality types, like I'm an extroverted introvert, so I can do it, but it exhausts me.
Yeah. Whereas I'm not, and I'm not a big fan of it anyway.
Yeah, I think it's harder for you to go.
Yeah, but it was also as well, we were obviously working all day and then going to these kind of events in the evening. So that was the other thing. We just didn't really have any off time or any downtime at all.
Yeah.
And so it's like even I mean, like we joke, but unless we're physically out of the country on holiday, and even then we're still on our emails. We don't really ever have any time off. No. It's just, it is always constant.
Yeah.
So there's always something, and you can't. And having your emails to your phone is the worst thing ever because you can't not. But then when you're away, you never actually switch off.
Yeah, and I think just it's kind of who we are anyway. We're a little bit like that. And
I am a control freak, yes.
That's a very polite way of saying that.
Yeah.
But I think as well, like we care. Like we deeply care about how the company does.
Yeah.
And because of that, I think we both found it really hard to delegate and let go in the early days.
Yeah.
When we started hiring people. That was really, really hard. And we had to learn to do that. Otherwise you're just paying people a salary for no reason.
Exactly.
But also you do deeply care. And I think sometimes it's really hard. Like when we both in new relationships since we started the business.
Yeah.
I think when someone comes into that and you have to explain to even like friends, family, kind of partners, how that works, and that it's not a case of it's 5 o'clock on a Friday, I'm not going to think about this till Monday now.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's just not realistic. And to an extent, I suppose you've got to manage the expectation. But also I kind of don't mind doing it. I think I'd rather not be wondering like what's Monday going to bring. I like to kind of
I agree.
And this is such a cliche, but a lot of the time it doesn't feel like work.
No, I agree. Yeah.
Yeah. Especially like this last year's been super weird, obviously. This is literally the longest, I think, since we were probably, apart from the wilderness years, since we were 11, we've gone not seeing each other.
I know, it's crazy, isn't it?
It is weird.
It is mad. Yeah. It is so odd. Yeah.
It's really weird, like not talking, like not seeing you every day.
Yeah. It is very strange. Yeah, it's weird. Like, I have to say, when we started away from home, it took me a while to get into it.
Yeah.
It took probably a good couple of months for me to like get into it, and I especially just like little things when you're in the house on your own all day as well. It's just that thing. It's like, whilst it's great, and that sometimes I can probably bash out 2-3 hours of work that would probably take me most of the day in the office because I'm talking to people, but gossiping with you. But yeah, now it is, so that's good. But yeah, it is weird not having that interaction. So that's why I'm just getting lots of animals to talk to in the day.
For those that are not aware, Sophie has gone rural.
Yeah, gone rural. So my only regret so far is I've got terrible hay fever, so living surrounded by fields is a bit of a nightmare. But but otherwise,
it's all good.
Lots of farm animals. So
3 horses.
Yeah. 3. Although I've got another one coming tomorrow. Don't ask. It's only for the summer. It's summer holiday. Yeah, 2 cats, a dog, and 8 sheep.
And 8 sheep. Have you named the sheep yet?
Only one Raymond's, because he's a pet. The others are not pets, so I'm not allowed to get attached to them.
We should wrap this up, Hughes.
Yeah. So, anyway, I could talk about my very small holding for a while.
Mini holding.
Mini holding.
What's next then? What are we doing next? Like, what's the plan? What are we doing?
Oh yeah. So the future is very different. I think. I think so it would be 2 years ago now, isn't it? In July, we did. I believe it's been 2 years. We did a bit of a big change, and we got sort of a board on board. And we've got some really big plans to grow the business. Like, a few people may have seen, we've started taking on a lot more internal staff for doing internal marketing and things like that to really push the sales. We've got our own technology now, which is a lot better than the previous technology. So that, big changes are sort of coming with that. So the dog's distracting me because he's eating a shoe behind me. In case you're wondering what that noise is. It's got a shoe. But yeah, so I think even though it happened 2 years ago, I'd probably say the last couple of months, it's really kind of made big changes, and we've got really big changes coming in. COVID probably knocked us back a bit, but we still grew, so that's really impressive. But yeah, I think it's going to be very exciting. We've got a lovely board.
Yeah,
we get on really well with them. They're very, very knowledgeable. So it's very exciting. It'll be very interesting to see what happens now over the next even just the next 6 to 12 months. I think there'll be a lot of changes.
I'm excited. I'm going to go a cheers for that.
Cheers.
Happy 15 years, Soph.
Happy 15 years. Well done, us. Yay! 15 whole years.
I do another party popper. Ready?
Yeah, you got another one.
We've got another one.
Yay!
Look how retro and rubbish that is.
That's amazing.
Cool. Well, thanks for everyone if you've managed to stay to the end of this video.
Yeah.
You probably
talk for a long time.
You've probably not learned very much, but we're both slightly squiffy now. So
yeah, exactly.
It's been a delight.
Yes.
Right, we'll do another one of these in 15 years, shall we?
Oh God, yeah. Hopefully we'll look younger.
Yes, maybe the science will have advanced.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Right, I will speak to you soon. Everyone.
Take care. Bye.